pjnet.tv. We're starting a brand new week. If you're watching this live, it's 9 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States on this 9th day of May 2022. And our bumper is running. We are recording and we are streaming live. And we are going to start a countdown to Studio 14, starting now. Well, good evening. Welcome. This is pjnet.tv. I'm your host, Coach Prasick, and we have had literally hundreds of people appear on the big screen or one like that. And tonight we have a member of our PJNet team. He comes to us on I guess that would be the second Monday of every month. And many of you may already know Andy Clapp, but in case you don't, we'll open the door and let him in this time. And Andy, it's great. I don't get to talk to you much, but it's just great to sit down and just catch up on things, even if it's once a month. I was looking at your Facebook page for some inspiration tonight. So tell me what your inspiration is, because if you have something, we'll go with yours.
A million miles an hour. How about that? I'm actually I'm at the coast right now. I'm at the beach. We're on vacation. Me and my family. We go with my mom every year for Mother's Day. Yep. And so we spend a few days down at Morehead City. In Atlantic Beach, North Carolina, and so we're down there right now and enjoying unwinding for a couple days because I think it's important to unwind.
So how long has this been a tradition of taking Mom on a vacation for Mother's Day?
Yeah, I believe this is year 8 or 9. We've been doing it for a while. Normally my sister's with us, but she's in the hospital right now. So she couldn't make it this year, but we're here and having a good time, and my sister's improving, so God's working, and we're thankful for that.
Well, I'm glad you're able to find a quiet spot and take some time out to join us. I was going to talk about Mother's Day. I know that was yesterday, but two things come to mind. One is honoring our father and our mother, but the other thing that I like to share with pastors is it's perfectly normal to talk about, mothers and how honorable they are and how we should honor them. But same way as with Father's Day, not every person had a pleasant experience. And it's hard to play both sides and exercise sensitivity, but the ideal mother is certainly portrayed in the scriptures, and we can learn from that.
It is, and one of the things we always try to do is get people to identify the women in their lives or the men in their lives if they've had that bad experience, that they identify the men or the women in their lives who were that positive impact. And sometimes it may have been a grandmother, it may have been an aunt, it may have been a cousin. It could have been any of these things, but there's always that person who made an impact, a lasting impact, and we try to shift that focus onto them, that they had that role model as well when they've had a bad situation like that.
But we owe so much to our mothers. Now, a question: you take your mother to the beach on Mother's Day. Well, what about mother-in-law? Does she get a day?
She gets all day Saturday. So we're there on Saturday with her, and we'll be going on a couple trips with her this year as well. So we try to divide it evenly between the two. So that's how we've done it.
I think that's a fair compromise, because we wouldn't want to, in a way you're fortunate, Andy, because in your case your mother and your mother-in-law are both still living, but the day will come when Mother's Day will be a little quieter.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we do put such an emphasis on our moms in our family, because the seconds are ticking away. I think one of the things that we struggle with, Coach, is this is really valuing moments, and they don't have to cost anything. It's just the moments. It's not the price tag that matters. It's the value of the moment. When we recognize that a moment, every Mother's Day we're given with our moms and our mother-in-laws and all that, every one that we're given is a gift. And my mom will tell you, don't buy me nothing. Let me see my grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that we have children, I'm no longer important, other than being the father of the grandkids. But the fact is that it's when we start valuing the essence of time and just the brevity of time, every day becomes Mother's Day. Every day becomes Father's Day. Every day becomes Siblings Day, and all of those things, because we understand we're not guaranteed another breath. We're not guaranteed another day. And for us, we're trying to put a higher focus on that, because I've done wrong. I've worked so hard for so many years. 22 years of ministry is a very long time to make it in ministry. That's the going rate nowadays, ain't anywhere near that. But what I've realized is that in that, there are times where I've lost focus on the gifts that God has given me, which is my family.
Mm-hmm.
God didn't tell me, go out there and advance the kingdom and neglect what I've given you. No, I'm supposed to advance the kingdom while embracing what he's given me. And so we're down here having a good time with my mom, and she's a jewel. I got blessed, and I know that. You met my mother. I don't know if
I
you knew
did.
that. You did. You met my mother at the writers' conference. She
Yeah.
talked to you quite a bit. My mother was the one who actually made sure your cake was there. The PJ Nut cake was
Uh,
there,
oh my
and
goodness.
she's beyond words. See, when I was growing up, Coach, I had a different, maybe a different childhood, or I guess you would say, or whatever. But my family busted up when I was about 14 years old, and so for swaths of time, it was me and my mom. And my mom never allowed me to give up on anything. My mom at that point had not worked in 20 something years and had to go back to work. But my mom made sure that I was serving in soup kitchens and that I was working at the local thrift store, volunteering time, when, to be honest with you, as a teenager, that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. But my mom was paving the way for me to become who I was called to become in Christ. You see, she was laying a foundation for what I would build my life on later, even if I didn't realize it in that moment. Because the ministries of our church now, they really follow a lot of what the Lord had my mom instill in my life. And so my mom at 50 years old put herself through college, and I was at her graduation. She was working 3 jobs and put herself through college at 50 years old, and I got to sit in that graduation as the proud son of a college graduate. And I'll never forget that day. But she taught me then, and has taught me throughout my life, you don't give up, you get up.
There you go. That'll preach.
And she also taught me that you embrace the moments you're given, because if you don't, they get by you so fast that you look back with nothing but regret.
Andy, there's a struggle, and I think men struggle with this more than women, but it applies to all relationships. But since
Yep.
we are kind of honoring mothers on the next day, the day after, it's not the quality, it's the quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever struggle with that? Well, I know I don't tell my wife I love her as much as I should, but I'm gonna take her on this big vacation to make up for it. We
Oh,
have a tendency to compensate in that way.
we do, and it's easy to fall into that trap. It's very easy to fall in that trap. You know why? Because we live in a culture of big.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in our culture is big.
Bigger
The
is better.
bigger, the more it means. But it's actually the smaller that means more, and the consistent absolutely means more. When we show up at dinner every night, it means more than $100 meal once a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. It's that Taco Tuesday that we have every Tuesday night, and the kids and myself and my wife are around the table. That means more to her than the biggest steakhouse, the nicest steakhouse one time a month. And I think for men, we do get into that. And you know what? Some of it's advertising, Coach. I'm going to throw advertisers under the bus right now because they're good at what they do. But look at the advertisements, especially at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever noticed Christmas ads? Christmas ads, how do you wow her with diamonds or with
Right.
cars, or you know what I'm saying? You have the Lexus commercials are the worst, to be honest with you, because they make you feel like a chump if you can't afford a Lexus. And I couldn't sell enough blood to afford a Lexus. But the fact is that that's not what gets their attention. It's those things during that season. For us, it's that we go and pick out our own tree with the kids, and we drag that joker home. And when we decorate it, we have a night that we have hot chocolate and watch Christmas movies together. And we have all these traditions that we carry out throughout the season. You see, culture says it should be one thing. It should be the big, the wow. But you know what? When we figure it out through the eyes of the Lord, it's the consistency.
Well,
And Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And if that's our motto, why are we not?
I think the world has a motive for bigger is better.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
you stretch and but the joy, the contentment, the happiness,
Mm.
whatever you want to call it, is temporary, and it begins to decay as soon as
Yeah.
every passing day. That means a little less. But now you've set the standard this year for next year,
Yeah.
and you've got it, and they are they are laughing all the way to the bank, because at the end of the day, that is what it's about to
Oh,
them.
yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, credit card companies love it. They love it. You know why? Because people will mortgage the next 6 months of their life for a few gifts and a wow moment.
Yeah.
And that's, the thing is that where do we operate from? And it begins with that contentment. Hebrews tells us to be free of the love of money. It's to be content in what you have. For the Lord himself had told you, I will never leave you or forsake you. So when Hebrews says that, what the writer of Hebrews is imploring is begin and operate from a place of contentment. Be content in who you have, Jesus Christ, not in what you have, because that stuff comes and goes. I mean, we had tornadoes rip through our area this week, and their houses just gone. You see, if your contentment was within the walls of that house, where's your contentment at now? It's in a flurry. But if
Mm-hmm.
your contentment is in who you have, your family members, and Jesus Christ himself, then nothing takes that away. And when we operate from that, we learn to love and to honor people even better, because it's not something we do just in a momentary sense. It's who we are at our core, because then we become so consistent because the contentment within us.
Speaking of tornadoes,
Yes.
it is the time of year of storms, and hurricane
Yes.
season is upon us. But before I we hadn't talked about your book, In the Eye of the Storm, lately, so I thought we'd talk about it tonight. But before we do, did I see where a book that's dear to my heart? I don't have a graphic, so I'll just hold this one up.
Yes.
Springtime for your. Did I see it? It hit number one for a minute or two. In some
Yeah, yeah.
category.
It hit number one in Easter and spiritual devotions today, and we were in the top 2,000 overall in Kindle yesterday, which is that's a God thing. God did that. We give Him the credit for it, because it just shot up out of the blue, and we give God the credit for that for sure.
When Michelle rang your phone that day,
Uh huh.
was it in your mind that, oh, this could be number one?
Well, okay, so not on my end, on her end, yes. Okay, and I'll explain that. Um, Anything Michelle does is done great.
Hmm.
Uh, and I can say that because I've known her all these years. I've seen her operate. Whatever Michelle does, it is done not good, but great.
Hmm.
And I know the power of God in her life and what I've seen Him do through her writing and things like that. Now, me, I am the doubting Thomas of myself, and so when my name's attached to it, I'm thinking this could be a train wreck because I know me and I know sometimes I'm a train wreck. But I would have never thought it, and I just happened to look at it today. I didn't even know, and I sent her a text a while ago and told her, and she was pretty excited herself about that.
That is awesome. In the eye of the storm,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
what's up with that?
Okay, it's a devotional book. I took 40 different hurricanes. I did this. It started, if you want to know the truth, it started as a sermon series. I did a sermon series at our church because I was looking out at our congregation and weighing all the different things I knew they were going through. Now, I wasn't going to stand up and tell everybody, okay, this family's having this problem and that one.
No.
But I looked and thought, you know what? Today, this family is going through, a loss of a family member. This family right here is dealing with questions, just a barrage of doubts right now. This family over here is dealing with a financial storm. This family over here. And I started thinking, you know what? What message resonates with all people? Well, the fact is every one of us will go through storms in life. Jesus never promised that we would not experience storms, but here was his promise that he wouldn't leave us in the storm. So I am fascinated with hurricanes. I live in North Carolina. We get hit with them all the time. I've been fascinated with them since '89 when Hurricane Hugo hit.
Hugo was a
And
mess. Yeah.
oh, it was, and we did a relief effort for my church in 1989. And so I've been fascinated by them. And I started working on this as a sermon series, and now it's a book with In-Game Press. Um, every hurricane's unique, just like every storm of your life's unique. But how does the Bible prepare us for these storms? How can the Word of God set you up that you'll stand before a storm strikes, whether it be a storm of guilt, a storm of temptation, storm of doubt, storm on your health? How can the Word of God equip you? Because it does, if we get into it. And so we're excited about it. It's coming out from In-Game Press. The release has actually been pushed back a little bit. It was supposed to come out the first day of hurricane season, but because of shipping delays and all that good stuff, it's going to come out in July now. But we're excited. I believe, honestly, Coach, I believe it will help people because we all face storms. And so often when we're facing them, our attitude is, if I would have only known this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
This is to prepare you before it hits. And if you're in the middle of it, this is to get you through it when you're in the middle of it.
40 hurricanes,
Yep.
40 devotions.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up in now, you think they'll make July? You think they'll actually make that deadline?
I think so. And it could be early July, but right now it could be middle to late. It's just kind of, right now we're all at the mercy of, most people don't even know this, but there's a paper shortage.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, and it's coming out of Europe. There's some things going on in Europe with paper shortages and printing shortage, delays and things like that. And then you have shipping delays. There's a lot of stuff going on that's causing these things. So, Coach,
Yes, ma'am.
this is
I'll
what
bring
I
you back.
absolutely believe, that God's timing is always perfect. Whatever day that book's supposed to come out will be the day that book comes out. And it will reach the people it's called to reach. And I'll be excited for every last minute of it.
Well, I can't wait for it to happen, Andy. And when it does, we'll be watching that Amazon #1 list to see how you do on your own.
Well, not as good as I do with Michelle.
Oh, Andy, don't. Zig Ziglar said, "Never build a case against yourself." And I don't listen to him enough sometimes because I'm pretty hard on myself.
Me too.
Well, Andy, we're out of time. I really appreciate that you have taken time away from your vacation, and I don't know how you found a quiet spot. Are they gone somewhere? I mean,
No, they're actually in the other room here in this condo. So I don't know. The Lord has intervened.
yeah, you're in the calm of the storm, no doubt. But anyway, well, Andy, enjoy the rest of your time with your mother and the rest of your family. Thank you for sharing your time with us, and we'll see you
Thanks, Coach.
about this time next month. Appreciate it, brother. All right. That was Andy Clapp. He comes to us once a month here on pjnet.tv, and appreciate his sacrifice in being with us here tonight. Well, the good times are rolling. I see that our producer, Barbara, is in the chat room. She has been celebrating Mother's Day herself. Her son had to work yesterday, but he took time today to take her out somewhere special. We'll have to have her on and have her tell her Mother's Day story. She'd like that, I'm sure. Well, folks, in just a few moments, Casper Stockham will be here, and he'll be sharing his story with us. That happens at the bottom of the hour. Until then, I need to get some things situated around here. And until then, I have a situation I would like you to address. Just ask yourself these two questions. What is the boldest thing that you've ever done for Jesus Christ? Second question is, when was that? You see, the challenge is to never be satisfied with either answer.